Now it gets interesting. The last two teams that we want to talk about, one of them has the biggest budget. We'll come to them the last because Hyderabad will save that because there's plenty of chat there. Punjab, though, they've done quite something ridiculous, which is Shikhar Dhawan is captain and all of that which went on with it. Let's just show you what Punjab have going into this auction. They have 32.20 crores. So it's basically the second biggest purse going in this year's auction. 3 overseas slots available. They still have 9 players who can they fit into that 25-man squad. What are we thinking here, Dan? We'll start with you because ultimately we saw the Punjab squad last time around and we were all just licking our lips. We were like, Livingston, Rajpaksa, the brand of cricket they're going to play. But it just literally never caught fire. Why was that? And what are they going to do this year, especially in the auction?
Okay, so I think that I wouldn't go so far as to say that it didn't catch fire. Look, ultimately, we had the 4th highest net boundary percentage in the tournament, over 1%, which is usually enough to qualification. And in fact, if you look at it, it was 2 6s from Tawati away from qualification ultimately. And these things are fine margins. I think ultimately the squad was constructed with a view to not just winning now or having a good chance of winning now, but also kind of looking to be a bit future-proofed as well because of the fact that we don't know if there's going to be another mega auction ever, basically. So it was prudent to look at some younger players as well. I think we saw some of the fruits of that in 2022 with the likes of Jitesh Sharma coming into the fore. And I think there's some other players with high potential as well, such as Atalva Taide, Raj Bawa, Prabhsimran Singh, and obviously Arshdeep Singh, who's now completely reinforced himself on the world stage already. So I do think that the future is really bright for Punjab. It's just a real shame that we weren't kind of able to kind of continue the project really, because I do think that we weren't far away, and I do think that ultimately with a 2 or 3 years of this kind of strategy, this identity that I felt that we forged at Punjab last year would have given us a great opportunity to build a successful franchise. And I think we went a long way there. And as you said earlier, the auction, people were excited about Punjab Kings. I mean, I personally got a lot of messages from people saying that it was the most excited that Punjab fans had ever been after an auction. So I just really hope that at least my biggest hope for this auction is that they stick to the script and that they don't go away from the style of play that we tried to implement and the identity that we tried to create. And this is where I think that the people who make the ultimate decisions have to look at. Let's try and say this like this: if you're a director of cricket, right, and you hire a coach, you have a coach who believes in a very, very attacking brand of cricket, strong batting group, etc., then you don't switch. If you get rid of that coach, you don't switch it to someone who's got a completely opposite mentality, because then you have to change your entire squad, and you can't do that over a year or 2 or 3. Sometimes it's going to take a very, very long time for you to make those changes. And so you've got to have this like preordained style of play, this preordained identity to start with, and then you find people who can fit into that mentality and play that, construct a squad and manage a squad who've got that, those thoughts as their preferred modus operandi as well, rather than chopping and changing coaches and who have very, very different ideas about how the game should be played. And I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So I just really hope that Bayliss and his the rest of his management group adhere to this the same way that we wanted to play. And so, it's being really honest with you, it's going to be a tough watch from a Punjab perspective for me. But I just hope that they hopefully continue what we tried to do in the last mega auction.
So they've let go of quite a few big names, Dean Smith, Mayank Agarwal being the biggest. Webber Arora, we saw a glimmer of him and he was pretty good. Benny Howell, a man that Dan loves and who's playing well in the Lanka Premier League as well, but somehow has not got any sort of IPL game. poor man, poor Benny there. What does your 11 look like for Punjab? And have you chopped and changed certain positions? I'm surely thinking you are.
Yeah. So one of the advantage with Punjab is that the amount of money that they have, and them and SRH are the two teams. If they set their eye on one player, there is no stopping them. And out of both of them, I think Punjab is the one who needs Sam Curran more because SRH already have quite a few left arm pacers in their squad. So I think if Punjab are set on Sam Curran, no one can stop them, and he will be a good buy for them because he can just fit into every team like I've been harping about in this entire show. So considering that they have,
How much do you think they're willing to spend on Sam Curran? What's the maximum limit you feel, according to you?
I think they'll be okay to even spend 17, 18 crores on him. They'll still have 14 crores left, which is more than a purse of a few other sides and almost matching a few others as well. So, I mean, just hear me out. Let's assume that they are able to take Sam Curran. Probably my 11 would, and apologies there if you don't like it. I mean, my 11 would be Shikhar Dhawan and Bairstow opening, Rishi Dhawan at 3 because he's more of an anchor rather than, because he's an all-rounder. If you are going to play him in the 11, that bat him at 3 in my opinion. Livingston at 4, Jitesh, Shahrukh at 5, 6, Sam Curran 7, Harpreet Brar 8, Rahul Chahar 9. I'd really want them to play Nathan Ellis ahead of Rabada at 10 and Arshdeep Singh in the 11. So this gives me seven bowling options and a bit of a batting depth as well.
Sure. I mean, every time we looked at Punjab in IPL 2022, we looked at their team sheet and we would be like, Rabada's batting at 7. That's the place higher up for him. That's one perennial problem they've had. But now with the whole new coach and stuff, what's the philosophy? What's the brand of cricket that they want to play? And then do you think they will think that first and then buy in the auction, or they just want people like Sam Curran and they have the muscle power anyway?
Well, that is a tough question for me to answer. First of all, I mean, it is you should answer it to you should ask this question to someone who is in the camp. Basically, if you are going to follow the same template or not, I can just assess from the outside perspective. I can just frame an 11 and just see what are the holes that needs to be plugged, and one hole that really needs some that really needs to be filled is the spot of an all-rounder, and that all-rounder could either be a batting all-rounder or a bowling all-rounder as well. That is where I feel either one of Sam Curran, Jason Holder, Ben Stokes just fits into their side, which will also mean that they won't be able to play Bhanuka Rajapaksa, which I'm quite sad about because I really like watching him play. But again, if they have to play Rabada, they have to play Livingston, they have to play Bairstow, they need another guy in the bowling department as well. And that is why Bhanuka Rajapaksa does not fit in the 11 right away. And having said that, they would love to have Mayank Agarwal back again at a lower price. If they get him for 8, 9, or even 10 crores, and if Mayank bats at number 3, then Bairstow opening with Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank at 1 down, followed by Livingston. Number 5 would be Jitesh, 6 Shahrukh, 7 Krishi Dhawan, which again I agree with Somesh is too low, but if you get Mayank, you can't bat Rashid Dhawan in top 4. And then you get to the bowlers basically who can bat Rabada at 8, number 9 Chahar, and then you can also play Nathan Ellis. You can play both Nathan Ellis and Kagiso Rabada in the side along with Arshdeep Singh as your third pacer. So I think your bowling gets really sorted on that front if you are able to get Mayank back. That is why I feel Mayank should be there, should be a player that they should target. But in case they are not able to get Mayank back, then they have to get an all-rounder at any cost. And yeah, that is about it. Mayank Agarwal and an all-rounder.
Yeah, I personally don't think that they're going to go down with Mayank again. If that happens,
But
it'll
why
baffle
not?
a lot of
But why
fans.
not? But why not? I mean, I mean, he was costing them 14 crores. You have to just, put that into the equation as well. And releasing Mayank is a big reason why they have 32 crores in their budget right now.
Yeah. So maybe that was the whole strategy. Maybe they wanted to kind of play their cards close to the chest
How many
and just free up
players?
some money. Yeah.
How many players really get released to be bought back for cheaper prices. I mean, it doesn't happen that often, and I think part of the reason, I mean, logically it probably should happen more often than it does, but I think the human side of things makes it quite difficult for it to actually happen in reality. So that you know, if you're bought back for half the money, no matter what your previous price was, you're probably not going to be hugely happy about it. And these things, I think, are sometimes that you intangibles that you can't necessarily look at via data and stuff like that. It is like this human side of things as well. I mean, I've got no idea whether Punjab Kings are going to look to try and repurchase Mayank Agarwal, but I think from my perspective, I would be quite surprised if they did it, just as a guess.
Yeah, the only player that I last remember was RCB tried to do this with Chris Morris. They actually went ahead and ended up betting the amount even higher than the one they released him on, and then they kind of stopped it. It started to look stupid.